Happy Easter, boot campers. I can't believe it's actually Easter. I swear this year is absolutely flying by. Needless to say, I hope you guys are having a great Saturday, a great weekend, and of course, a great Easter. Guys, it is boot camp time. We have a bag that we need, and also, like we did last boot camp, we want to set up with a square on the floor if possible, or you can set it up outside, but ideally, grab yourself some masking tape and mark out 40 centimetre square on the floor. Use a low tack masking tape, because that way you won't leave any residue or sticky stuff on the floor. It'll come off nice and easy. So make sure you get yourself a square, grab yourself your training bag, and we will kick into our session. Of course, we've got a little bit of an Easter inspired aspect to our program today, but a great program nonetheless, and we're going to jump straight into it. To kick things off, folks, we'll get some arm circles happening. So going forwards first, nice big arm circles with that big shoulder blade squeeze at the back. Working a set of 10 in one direction. Taking those arms all the way up and over before we reverse it back the other way for 10. Oh, tell you what, the old shoulders are a bit tight at the moment. That's it, nice big circles, loosening up those shoulders. From there, guys, we're gonna go to the hips. So hands on the hips, pushing them right out and around. Working a set of 5 one way, and then 5 the other. Pushing right into the front, right around. 5 one way before we kick back the other way. Drawing a nice big circle, pushing right out into those end ranges. Oh. Once we finish our hip circles both ways, we're gonna pin our toe in place. Basically cycle that ankle around. Working 5 one direction before we head back the other way. A bit of a funky dance move, of course. Drawing a nice big circle, trying to keep that toe in place. Then over to the other side. Just remember, you're doing 5 one way before you reverse the direction. One way and one side always feels so much better than the other side. Nice, guys. From there, guys, if you need to hold on to something, grab an upright, grab the back of a chair, but we're doing some leg swings. Swinging those legs forwards and backwards. If you can, try to work that balance a little bit, but be mindful, you want to try to stabilize the upper body as much as possible. Once we hit 10 on one side, change it up to the other side. Swinging forwards and backwards. Trying to get a nice full range before we change it to sideways swings. The side one is always a bit tougher than the forwards backwards. So try to stabilize or hold on to something if you need to. Swinging that foot right across the body. Once we finish that one side, onto 10 to the other side. Nice and steady as we swing that leg right out. Ooh, nearly tipped over then. Nice. Then, guys, we're going to move into some frog squat to kickbacks. So heading down into that frog squat, kicking back, then rocking back. Stepping back through, standing up nice and tall, back down to the other side, rocking back. Our mate with the motorcycle is back again, revving his bike. Hopefully we're all starting to rev our own engines, starting to warm up a little bit at this point. Just remember to try to keep that chest up as we kick back, rolling onto the heel. Nice and tall as we stand up in between each rep. 5 per side, 10 total. From there, guys, we're just going to stay in that low position. Just stretching out through the calves next. So pushing back into one heel, then the other. Working from one side, pushing back through the palms, remember, and lift the back side. So it's very similar to our downward dog movement, which is what we're going to do next. Hold for a second before moving over to the other side. Once we get 10, 5 per side out, just set up in the top of that push-up position. We're going to push back into downward dog, pushing back through the palms, flattening the chest down towards the ground. Legs nice and straight, then lowering to the knees, slide it through, lifting up nice and tall at the front. Remember, lift yourself up. 2-second holds at either end, working for 5 reps, pushing back 2 seconds, driving down, Breathe out as you come up, lifting up nice and tall, then back, driving up, controlling it down to the ground before we slide through, then pushing back. Nice. From there, guys, we're going to move on to our backs next. So a little bit of glute marching next. So setting yourself up. You want to set up like you're going to do a glute bridge, except our feet are closer together. Elevate the toes, and we're driving the knee towards the chest, pushing through the heel as I drive up nice and high. Working for a set of 10 per side this time, 20 total. Really try to push those hips right up towards the sky as we work. Nice and tall. Once we get that 20th rep out, we're going to ab cycle next. So rolling the chest forwards, trying to reach towards our feet, pulling those knees in. We want to push the small of the back in. From there, we're just cycling the legs backwards and forwards. Remember, we want to roll that chest forward. So up and back and shoulders are up off the ground. This is also for a set of 10 per side, 20 total. Nice and controlled as we work our ab cycles. And once we hit that 20th rep, we want to roll back onto the front again, setting up into the top of that high plank position or the top of our push-up. From there, give yourself a little bit of space between the feet. Stabilize those hips. Walk it down to the elbows. Then walk it back up as one. Control those hips as we lower down. Pushing back up again. Alternating which arms we lower down first. Nice and stable as we work our way up, walk our way down. Working for a set of 10 reps for our walking plank. Next up, guys, we're going to walk or move into some marching drills. So up onto our feet, just staying as tall as we can. We're just going to march on the spot. So drawing the knee nice and high. We're going to do 20 steps, just alternating how high we're lifting. As we march, of course, we don't want to lean back and we don't want to collapse our chest. We want to basically lift our knee as high as we can without changing our posture as we do so. So nice and tall, marching on the spot for a set of 10. Then a little bit of ankling or heels to toe. So we're going to be working, just walking across our living room or wherever we might be, rolling from our heel onto our toe, lifting up. So it's like a little calf extension. Roll up onto the ball of the foot, working out or walking our way across. We're going to do 20 of these. Roll off the heel onto the ball of the foot, lifting up nice and tall. Just trying to wake up those calves, get a bit of range through those ankles as we go. Once again for a set of 20 steps. From there, guys, we're going to do some star jumps. So working nice. Oh, I've got to coordinate myself. Hands above the head. So as I jump out, hands are above the head. As my feet come together, hands right next to our sides. So up tall, down, split the legs, soft knees, nice and steady for a set of 20, bouncing on the balls of the feet. Remember to take it nice and steadily like I had to do those first couple of reps. Remember, once you get going, hands above the head, feet together with the hands by the side for those ones. Of course, 20 reps. Last of all, this is very similar to our 1, 2, 3s that we do with our ladder, except we're just going to extend it out into 7s. So when we do or last week, when we did 1, 2, 3 high knee, 1, 2, 3, slowing it down, 1, 2, 3. Basically, we're just taking 7 steps. So start out with a high knee first, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool, so it's very, very similar to that movement of our 1, 2, 3s. We're just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Working our way from side to side, just getting that heart rate up a little bit. So just slow it down a little bit and count the steps before you pause on that outside foot. You can even start on that outside foot just to get things going. In fact, that's where you want to start. High knee, nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool? Give yourself a few reps of that. So basically you want to move set of 10, across is 1. So basically once again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 for 10. Cool? Once you finish that, we're going to move into our activation set. Folks, we are going to be using our square quite a bit today for pretty much all of our sessions, our little components of our workout. So either head on over to where you've got your square set up or set up that square on the floor and we'll kick things off with a little activation set. Of course, you're probably feeling nice and warm after our little dynamic mobility set. We're just going to pick up the pace just a little bit more now. So to kick things off, guys, we've got 3 exercises. We're going to be doing 10 reps of each. The first one, like what we did last week, we're going to work some switches. So basically with our switches, we're just changing our feet forwards and backwards as we go, except we're going to be moving sideways, moving to our left, moving to our right as we go. So what I'd like you to do is set up with your left foot on the side, outside the square, with your foot next to the square. What we do is we switch and move into the square, switch again, then move out of the square. So we go 1, 2, 3. Cool? 1, 2, 3 with our switches. So as I move across is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for a set of 10. Take it nice and slow to begin with, just to get things going. But just remember to get it set that foot next to your square before you start moving. So left foot to the right of that square, and that'll get you going. Then all we do is we change our feet, move in, change again, then move out. Cool? Do that one, and then something a little bit different. So loosen those wrists up just a little bit by rolling them around, because we are going to do our 1, 2, 3, basically working with our hands. So what I'd like you to do is move down into the push-up position. So to get these going, guys, we're going to start out basically setting up in that high plank position. You want a nice shoulder width stance between the feet. Then I want you to set up basically in a plank tap position. Cool, one hand outside of the square. In this case, it's my right hand. Now, nice and slow, I go 1, 2, 3 plank tap. 1, 2, 3 plank tap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 as I go. Be mindful to control what's happening at the hips. Cool, so don't just place in the hands, moving your way from side to side and forget about what's happening with the rest of the body. We want to maintain that nice strong line from head to heel and brace against any kind of rotation that's created. Cool, so once again, set yourself up, right hand on the outside of our little square, working in that plank tap position, holding the hips steady. We go 1, 2, 3, keeping the feet steady. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for a set of 10. Of course, 1, 2, 3 is 1, 1, 2, 3 is 2. Cool, set of 10. Last of all, or I should say last exercise in the set is working our 1, 2, 3. So like in our warm-up, we did our 7s. This is just going back to our 3s. Best way to start this is knee up. So in this case, right foot on the outside of our square, nice and tall, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 with the high knee. 1, 2, 3 high knee. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 7. 1, 2, 8. 1, 2, 9. 1, 2, 10. Once you finish your 10 of your high knees, you just go back to the start. We're doing 3 rounds of our switches. Remember, 1 foot on the outside. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 for a set of 10. We then move into that hand, 1, 2, 3s, setting up with one hand on the shoulder, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then finally with our good old 1, 2, 3s for a set of 10. 3 rounds, 10 reps of each one of those exercises. As I mentioned at the start, folks, that little Easter theme, it makes its appearance in this set. So we're doing basically an exercise that's called the good old hot cross 1, 2, 3s. So you're probably wondering why we're doing so many 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 variations at the start. Well, it was all to get nice and warmed up for this particular set. The good old hot cross 2, 3 coming up. Anyway, guys, the way this set works, of course, I've kind of thrown a bit of or gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but this is called the square wheel. So we've probably done some of our wheel workouts in our sessions where we have a hub exercise followed by the spokes of that wheel. So with a wheel exercise or a wheel set, basically you'll always return to the hub. So just think of it as like a wheel. You got that hub exercise, you go out to a spoke, you come back. Go out to a spoke, come back. Go out to a spoke, come back. So you'll always do one exercise and come back to the hub. Another exercise, come back to the hub. In this case, we've got 3 exercises. We've got 3 spokes on our wheel. Cool? Now, our little hub exercise is basically our hot cross 2, 3. Cool? Basically, because we're working in a cross on our or in our square. So we know our 1, 2, 3s. Cool? The way this works is 1, 2, 3 into the front. 1, 2, 3 into the front. 1, 2, 3 to the side. 1, 2, 3 to the side. 2, 3 to the back. 1, 2, 3 to the back. 1, 2 side. 1, 2 side. 1, 2 front. 1, 2 front. That's 1. We'll do 2 of those. So to make this easy so you can kind of see what 2 reps of this would be, it doesn't change, it's always the same. But it goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 1. 1. That would be 2. Cool? Does that make sense? So we're basically going through just 2 rounds of that. So you just repeat it. Once you get back to that front position, you just repeat it again. So just count it. The best way to do this is think of, you've got your central zone. Basically, this is our wheel. So it's basically a mimic of what we're doing in our wheel workout anyway. We're working into the front. We work to the sides, work to the back. So there's our cross. Cool? So once again, nice and simple. Start out in the square. 1, 2, 3 into the front. 1, 2, 3 into the front. 1, 2, 3 into the side. Side, back, back, side, side, and front for 1 rep. Cool? Just practice that if you need to before you break into the main set. Cool, that's our hub. We're gonna get plenty of practice with the hub exercise. Cool? Then we go to our first spoke. First spoke, we grab our bag. We will need our bag for this set. So, set yourself up in the lunge row position. Nice strong line from head to heel. Pull that bag back into the hip pocket. Working for a set of 10 reps on that one side. Then change it out to the other side. Setting up with the bag right next to the foot. Remember, pull the bag into the hip. Place it back into that front foot position, always working down and back and bracing against that rotation. Hold your body like a statue. That's our spoke number 1. Then we go back to our 2 reps of our good old hot cross 2, 3s. Cool? Second spoke exercise will be a bag press. So grab your bag, holding it up on the chest in a nice tall posture. We press out for 10 reps. Cool? We place that bag back down, we go back to the hub. Last of all, we've got a grounder overhead. So standing right over the top of our bag, chest up, chin up, we reach down, we pick the bag up, we press it out, we control it back down again. Touch the ground, press out. Remember guys, keep that chest up and that nice strong body position. Cool? I don't want you to lean over and compromise that spinal position. I want us nice and straight, strong from head to hip, bending those knees, dropping down as we reach and press out, controlling that bag down to the ground each time. 10 reps, cool? So back into our good old hub exercise, our hot cross 2, 3s. So guys, we're working for 12 minutes. Set a timer going for 12 minutes and you want to see how many rounds of your wheel you can bust out. Hitting that hub, our cross 2 3s into our lunge rows, 10 per side. Back into the hub, cross 2 3s, then into our presses, pressing it out, set of 10. Then last of all, hub, followed by our good old ground overhead. Then we're just repeating. We're on repeat for 12 minutes. Cool? So give that a shot. See how many rounds you can get out. Make sure that you just work within your fitness level. If you feel like that technique is starting to break down because of too much fatigue, just slow it down a little bit. Try to keep working without having to take a break, but work your tempo or slow your tempo down so you can keep working for that 12 minutes. Cool? Let us know how many rounds you get out in the square wheel, I'll say that again, in the square wheel set. Cool? Nice. Last up, folks, I've got a 1-up 30-30 challenge for you guys to do. Basically, you'll be working for 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, for 5 exercises for 4 rounds, making it a casual 20 minutes of work for this particular set. Now, with a 1-up challenge, ideally what you do is you set a benchmark in your first round for your exercise reps. Then you want to basically beat those rounds each round that you do, or beat the reps of the exercises per exercise each round that you do. So what you want to do is grab yourself some paper, grab yourself a pen, and you want to, when you're breathing in those 30 seconds, that's when you want to jot down those rep totals, so then you've got some targets to beat. So what I've got on this good old sheet is, as rows, I've got the exercises written down on the side. Then I have the columns at the top as the rounds. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 columns at the top, followed by our exercises down the side for our rows. So then as I complete the first round, I jot in the rep totals as I go. Then on that second round, I want to beat those rep totals. Now, as you go, if you're one of our beginners getting into this particular style of format for the first time, take it nice and easy so then you can 1-up nice and steadily. But ideally, for those of our regular members, you want to basically work that first round at about 80-85%. So if you go too slow at the start, it's just going to make it quite easy to hit those targets on the 3rd and 4th round. That's the money rounds, those 3rd and 4th, because that's where the spice is really, or the heat is really turned up. So you can really kind of basically set the tempo at the start. Go too easy, then it'll make those ones a little bit easier, which is great for our beginners. But if you want that challenge, just put a little bit of pepper on it at the start, and then of course it's going to really open up and make you work nice and hard for those 3rd and 4th rounds. Let's face it, we want to get those effort, or get that effort up, because we're going to be eating a lot of chocolate over this Easter period. So we want to burn those calories and really get a cracking session out in this particular set. Cool? Alrighty, so going over our exercises, you can chuck that over to the side. Exercises wise, we've got double jump burpees, we've got pop squats, we've got walking push-ups, we've got cross 1-2s, and we've got some flutters, all working in and around our good old square on the floor. So to kick things off, you've got 30 seconds of our double jump burpees. Works like a regular burpee. We burpee chest to ground on the outside of our square. We pop up, double jump to the side, drop down for a burpee. 1, 2, working through, and so on and so on. So each time your chest touches the ground is 1 rep. After 30 seconds, make that note on your sheet of paper, resting for 30 seconds, and then second exercise, we've got some pop squats. Pop squats work like this. Feet sit on outside of our square, we stand over the top. We drop down into a squat, we jump up, we drop back down into our squat. Pop, drop, pop, drop. Feet together, feet apart. Feet together, feet apart. Arms to the side, arms out in front. Cool? As we do this, really focus on that upright posture. So nice strong squat, feet outside, hands together, or hands to the side, feet shoot those arms out. So that chest stays up, arms out, touch, reach, touch, reach. Cool? Each time you drop down into the squat, that's 1 rep. So once again, down. 1, 2. Cool? We ideally want to make sure that we're getting that hip to knee or making that parallel. Cool? Work within the range that you can as best you can, but we want to get minimum of that parallel knee position. Cool? With that hip sitting nice and parallel to the knee. Cool? Third exercise is a good old walking push-up. So we set ourselves up in the push-up position with one hand inside the square. Cool? So then we bring the hands together, move apart, and we push up. Together, apart, push up. Together, apart, push up. Best way to do this is set yourself up first before you jump in by placing the hands on the sides of the square and then the feet shoulder width apart. That way you don't have to move your feet. You shouldn't have to move your feet. So then arms close as we go down chest to ground, pop together. That way I can move from side to side and my feet stay put as I go. Otherwise, if you start shuffling your feet around, it just complicates everything. So if you can anchor the feet in, which in line with the sides of your square, shoulder width apart, that works the best. I find then you don't have to shuffle around. It makes it nice and easy to shift your weight from side to side. Cool? If you need to, knees drop to chest, but when we're working from side to side, knees up off the ground as we go. Drop to knees, push up, reset, across. Cool? Fourth up, good old cross 1-2s. Starting on the side of our square, we step in, we go 1-2. We cross the foot, 1-2. So the outside foot steps across, 1-2, like what we did last week. So cross 1-2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we count the reps. Cool? So nice and steady with our cross 1-2s. Last of all, setting up for some flutters. This one, we stick our butt and lower back in the middle of our little square. Basically, the floor is lava outside the square. So pushing the hands towards the feet, rolling the chest forwards. 1, 2, it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. That's how we count, not 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Small flutter movements, pointing the toes, locking the knees nice and straight, and rolling that chest forwards as we go. Cool? So we're basically balancing on our butt and the small of our back. Cool? Rolling that chest forwards. Lie back too far, you're going to burn your back on the ground. Drop those legs. Same thing, floor is lava in this instance. Cool? As soon as that 30-second sounds, that's when you can rest. Cool? So once again, guys, going over our exercises, double jump burpees, working for 30 seconds, then 30 seconds off, write down the score. Pop squats, 30 seconds off, write down the score. Walking push-ups, 30 seconds, write down the score. You know the deal. Cross 1-2s, and finally our good old flutters. Cool? So when you leave us a comment, let us know what your final scores are on that final round of your double jump burpees, pop squats, walking push-ups, cross 1-2s, and our good old flutters. We want to know and want to see how you guys do with the 1-up 30-30 challenge. Last up, folks, is a good old stretch as a cool down. Now, because we've been jumping around a lot, we will stretch out those calves and do some double duty on those calves. So find yourself a nice little door frame or a bit of wall where you can work, and we basically want to place our foot, ball of the foot, up on the upright or on the wall, and try to get your heel as close to that upright as you can. With a nice straight leg, we want to pull our body forwards, keeping that leg nice and straight so we can get a nice stretch in that calf. We want to hold that for about 30 seconds. Nice big breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keeping that heel on the ground the whole time. Once you hit that 30 seconds, change it over the other side. Keeping that heel down on the ground, trying to get that ball of the foot planted against the upright as I pull the body forwards. Lean into that stretch for 30 seconds. Then we're gonna kick our leg out the back. Nice straight arms, driving that heel down at the back. Basically placing all of our body weight into that back heel. Should almost be able to lift that front leg up off the ground. Working for 30 seconds before we change it out to the other side for 30 seconds. Once again, driving that heel down and into the ground. Ooh, nice big breathing. We definitely got the heart rate up during that session. So we want to try to relax and breathe at this point. Cool. Grab and hold of the upright. Let's stretch out those quads a little bit. So pull the heel into the butt. Squeeze and push, or squeeze the butt and push the hips forward. But just be mindful, we don't want to arch that back in this position. Keep that chest down. Hold those abs on. And we're squeezing the butt at the same time to get a nice stretch out of those quads and hip flexors. 30 seconds on one side before we change it up. Working the other side, pulling the heel into the butt. Once again, nice tall posture for 30 seconds. Next up, folks, let's place that forearm on our door frame or our wall, elbow level with the shoulder, leaning in and turning away. Stretching out that chest, leaning in. 30 seconds on one side before we change it out to the other side. Leaning in, turning away from that arm. Oh, definitely feels good, this stretch. Nice, folks. Then we'll take a seat on the floor. Sitting down, we're going to kick those legs out to the side, nice and wide. Just leaning into the front. Keeping the legs nice and straight. Nice big breathing once again. We're going to lean over to the side, grabbing the leg, pulling the chest forwards. If we can grab the toes, pull them back. Trying to bring that chest down towards the knee. 30-second hold before we move to the other side for 30 seconds. Once again, holding the leg, pull the toes back if you can. Then back into the center, leaning a little bit further forwards for 30 seconds. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Then last of all, folks, we're going to hit some downward dogs. So setting up in the top of the push-up position. Pushing the hips high, flattening the chest down. Heels down. Nice big breathing, holding. Then lowering to the ground, sliding it through. Lifting up nice and tall at the front. Remember to push the ground away to lift yourself up as high as you can. Allowing those hips to sink into the ground. Continuing to breathe. Give yourself 5 big deep breaths before we push back. Driving those hips up again. Trying to get the heels down a little lower. Chest a little lower to the ground. 5 big breaths one more time. Before we lower to the ground, slide it through, lifting up tall at the front. Creating that space between the ears and the shoulders. 5 big breaths before we lower it down to the ground and make your way up to your feet. Well done, everyone. That was an absolute cracker of a little session there. Great way to get the heart rate up and get some solid work in as well, of course, which is awesome, which just preps that appetite for those big feasts and feeds that you guys are going to have over Easter. Hoping that the good old Easter Bunny comes and visits you guys, dropping off plenty of eggs, joy and goodness for you guys. I hope you have a cracking Easter. And of course, I'll see you guys again super soon. In fact, Monday for a nice little strength session. Anyway, guys, Yosti out. Take it easy and I'll see you soon.